I came to realize I needed me some really good quality 3D clay gels. So 3D clay gels was not something I was ever expecting that I would be going for. I just didn't really see myself as much of a sculptor. And I'm not really into like the cutesy kind of like junk nails and such. So yeah, I just didn't see it really being a thing for me. But this has all kinds of 3D elements. And hey, why not have clay gels? I did have a cheapie set that I'd picked up years ago on Amazon for like 20 bucks or something. And I did try playing with that, but it's super sticky. You can't roll it out flat the way you want to. So it just wasn't quite doing what I needed it to do. So instead I bought these. And of course, once I started sculpting, damn, I realized this is further up my alley than I had really expected, because I cannot paint. Painting is not my forte. Drawing is not my forte, but I love to sculpt. So I wanted to emulate that, like, you know, the oil resistant checkered food paper that you find in some takeout stuff. So what I did was used a syrup, like a milky white, so that it wasn't really, really solid color. It kind of gave it that translucent quality. And then I went in with a red jelly polish, and I just used a long liner brush to do like intersecting lines. And then I took my little tiny brush here and just put dots in alternating squares so that I knew where to put my checker pattern. And so I was able to make a big, huge sheet of this food wrap paper because I wasn't quite sure how I was going to work with it. So initially my idea is that I wanted to wrap the paper around like half of the burger, the way that some people will do when they're eating it, but it was just cracking and snapping. And no matter what I tried for the paper, different thicknesses, thin coats, thick coats, builder gels, base gels, none of it seemed to be working. And keep in mind that this video is heavily edited and sped up, so I just didn't want to continue to take the time playing with it. This took me about 8 hours to do this nail, and that was after the design concept and playing around with this trial idea with my Amazon gels just to get a feel for what I was going to do. So my design concept was the idea of eating a burger on the hood of the car, and so I was mimicking a 1967 Chevy Impala. So I went in with this glossy black and a silver chrome for the trim. Then I'm going to go in with just a thick gem gel and make sure I've got a lot of surface coverage to be able to hold down this paper really well. And I made it, of course, a lot bigger than I needed to, even though it was really slow and tedious to do that. I'm glad that I did because, you know, some of my spacing was off for my checkers, so some of them didn't look as good. And of course, I had breakage, so at least once all was said and done, I had enough that I could use for it. And the paper idea works really well to transition from the burger to the hood of the car. It just kind of anchors it to it so that your design idea flows better. Later, what I'm going to try and do is take this flat piece of paper and cure it so that it's got like ripples and stuff in the edges and looks a little more realistic, hopefully. Of course, you can always try going for like a picnic theme as opposed to the hood of a car like I did. And, you know, do the base of your nail with something that looks like grass or perhaps a wooden picnic table. And that might be a really great idea for summer too. Getting onto the burger now, and the brown coming right out of the package was almost exactly what I was looking for, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I added in a smidge of yellow and white, and you just mix that all up in there. Takes a whole lot of mixing, but eventually it'll come out into whatever color you're looking for. Once I had it at the color I wanted, I just rolled it into a little tube and did it not quite in half because I wanted a bigger top bun than I did a bottom bun, and roll those out into some little balls. And we just take it from there. I'm just trying to figure out like size.
It's so coming to life right now, bitch. It's so coming to life.
What are you talking about? It's just a bottom bun.
No, but you can like, do you not agree? It's like coming to life, like with the paper and the bottom bun. Like it's so coming to fucking life right now.
I'm just not sure if I should like I don't think I want it totally completely centered, right? Like I give it super centered, like it's off center right now. Can you tell? Can you see like looking there?
Yeah.
But I think that's probably better than if it's like perfectly centered. I have a feeling it might look too forced kind of if it's perfectly centered.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but no, we do a burger.
Ew, it looks like shit. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm looking at it thinking, is this too much? Not enough? How much here? What do we got here?
God, it melts so fast. Like,
it's good that it doesn't like completely melt soft. Like a lot of the like the Embo gels,
yeah,
they are like just super thick gel, really. So it like it really melts out, right? Should I do 2 patties?
I don't.
Yeah, that'll get complicated. Yeah, I'll just do. Yeah, that'll get. I was like, will it look better if I do double? But no, it'll start getting too high and blobby.
Too high and stuff. Yeah.
Now the other thing I'm not sure of is like, am I better off curing in between or layering it all and then like I don't know when it comes to this stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Because I just don't have enough experience with these types of gels.
You're worried because it's very bright?
Yeah.
You're worried? Now, if you put white in, it's just going to make it even lighter. So how can we make it a tad bit darker? If you added, how good is this stuff to mix up? Like, is
it's good.
What if you just added a smidge?
A black or brown?
Yeah, like a smidge of black. Just a smidge.
I would think brown before black, maybe.
Then try brown. Just a smidge, though.
Yeah. Here, I'll use this dark brown that's a little bit down here already.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because we can... And I can certainly test it out without doing like a whole bunch of it, right?
Because I know when you're trying to darken shit up, you don't need a lot of the
dark
black or whatever the fuck you're going to use.
Very little. Let's try it just with this.
I do think, though, if it makes you feel any better, your other colors are very vibrant. So the green being that vibrant doesn't really look weird or anything. It just kind of looks like rotten lettuce.
No, but that looks more real to me.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's way more of a, like, that's neon. That's not a, this looks way more, it's too brown. Like there's too much brown in there right now, I'd say. But that's giving it,
all that in with that
that's giving me a better color concept than this fluorescent. I just want to get the fluorescent tone down, right? See there, doesn't that look way more like lettuce than this? This looks like, like it's still got that really bright, bold color.
No, you're right. It looks,
but it doesn't have the like neon look, right?
Yeah, it looks for sure.
This looks fake.
Lettuce. Yeah.
Whereas this looks
like
looks
way more like lettuce. Yeah. For sure. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, originally I was just going to paint these, but I don't know if I can do it like this.
And see, the great thing about lettuce is it doesn't have to be perfect because it's fucking lettuce.
Yeah, exactly. You want it to be all...
You want it to be all fucked up.
Yeah. The only thing is I need it to go a little bigger. Damn it. And now I might not be able to. That's why I'm not sure if I should be curing because like it just melts into the next layer, right? Which is kind of good in the sense that it's going to... like secure it really well, but at the same time maybe not good.
That's good.
Because
I think it's good.
It makes it like all pull, right? Like if I pull one, it pulls it all kind of thing.
Yes, I understand, but it also makes it look like kind of cohesive.
Yeah, more natural, right? But I've been learning different tips and tricks like this. No. Okay, I'll leave you to melt for a minute. Just melt it up. This is all well and good if you know what you're doing. But if you're winging it like me,
yeah,
it's like, oh shit,
job. Like
one layer could ruin the next layer because I didn't.
I would say, I was gonna say you should make the tomato a little smaller because you know it's gonna melt. But then, what if it's too fucking small? I don't fucking know. I'm not the professional. You just figure it out.
It's super tricky. I should have made this bigger though.
What, the lettuce?
Yeah, because like I got a whole section here where it's not even going off the edge of the burger, right? Like, and when I'm pulling, it's like pulling it. It's like pulling the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's creating. It's like stretching out the whole burger kind of thing. It's like, no. It's like if I don't get it right the first time, everything I do with it kind of makes things trickier and trickier. Maybe I just need to let it sit for a second and kind of melt in and then move things around. I'll try that. Unfortunately, the melting clay beat me and I ended up having to scrap the whole burger, pull it off, and start from scratch. So, which is okay. It's all a learning curve. So I started again, and this time I got the shape and the look that I wanted, and I went ahead and cured each level because it just would melt too much and spread too much, and trying to adjust each layer as I went was mucking up the layers below it. I was trying to figure out a way to make the meat part look a little more realistic, so I went in with this stipple brush, just trying to give it a little bit of texture the same way that a piece of meat would. And while I had the right idea, once again the clay started heating up and melting out my texture marks, and it just wasn't quite giving me the effect that I was looking for. So instead I decided to go in and hit it with some color. I just dabbed a hint of that black polish onto my little ring palette, and going back in with my stipple brush, I'm just hitting those edges super, super light, and it is creating this really awesome highlight onto it that adds just another level to make it look a little bit more realistic. Decided to grab this shade I Need a Latte from Madam Glam, because since I was redoing it and it was going way quicker now, I figured, what about cheese? Cheese would be a great idea. So I go in and I put a layer of cheese on there, and that was pretty simple. Just painting it on, and then just went around and like dripped it over the edges just so that you'd be able to see it and get the idea that there's actually some cheese on there. Can you see this coming together? What do you think? Are you feeling like this is too much of a sculpting project and not nails? I just love experimenting with like totally wild and different ideas, and so this one has been a lot of fun for me. You remember, if you're all about seeing different techniques and experiments being done, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget notifications, and you can see what kind of funky stuff I start playing with next. Also, it doesn't hurt to like and share, because it's just always going to help out my channel and keep me at it. I flattened out this piece of lettuce, made it nice and big this time, and it was way easier to ripple around and make it look like actual lettuce. And of course, I'd already cured the cheese below it, so there wasn't anything mucking anything else up. And then using my tweezers here, I'm able to like tear off some of the edges to kind of give a more realistic lettuce look. And of course, I fuck around and fuss with it for God only knows how long, probably an hour, trying to get the look I'm going for. And I'm sure it doesn't look much different 20 minutes in as it does an hour later, but I eventually get happy with it and cure that level too. The tomatoes came next, and they caused me no end of grief, but where there's a will, there's a way. So you wouldn't think it'd be tough, but the only red that was in this collection is like a pinky beet red. I don't know. And it wouldn't work. It just did not have a good tomato color for me. It actually looks kind of okay in the video, but in real life, yeah, it was just a totally wrong tone. So no matter how many shades and stuff I tried adding to it, I just couldn't get it right. So I ended up biting the bullet, and I made my little tomatoes, and I just painted them. So I grabbed one of my Madam Glam colors that's tomato-y looking, and I covered over them with a tomato colored polish, and voila, we got tomatoes. Our top bun is next. Pretty simple, but I decide that I again want to go in and just add some extra details to it to make it look a little more realistic and a little less cartoonish, and hopefully just improve the quality and make it look a little better. So I'm using Daily Charms Old Fashioned and just a little smidge of Master Debater from Madam Glam. These are both a glass jelly gel, and so they are going to give it a little bit of extra color, but just kind of be translucent enough that it doesn't come out very stark, and it'll just, again, add those extra little highlights. And the bun itself already has a nice color variation through it from mixing the clay gel up. So it's got some really nice darker and lighter tones. I'm really glad with the way it turned out, because I guess I didn't quite mix the clay 1000% enough to meld the colors perfectly, but it worked out to my benefit, because there's just these very slight shade variances throughout it that make it look, again, a little more realistic. So with my initial application of these glass gels on here, it's a little bit bright and a little stark, not exactly what I was going for. So instead I come in with a fan brush that's been doused in alcohol, and I just kind of start to smear them around a little, give them a little bit of natural spread, because I'm just trying to get those color highlights happening. The final detail I wanted to do on the burger itself was sesame seeds. So I, again, am just taking the bun color, but I've added some white to it to lighten it right up and, you know, just set it apart from the rest of the bun. And I'm just going to go in and make a teeny, teeny skinny worm and cut off some tiny little smidges of it that I can shove into the bun and shape a little to kind of look like a sesame seed. And I tried not to obsess over this too much and just give myself a little leeway, because it didn't really matter how those sesame seeds turned out. The little blobs on the bun looked pretty natural and, you know, just gave it an extra touch. Reaching for my crazy top standard now. If you're still hanging in there with me, we're headed into the final stretch, and we're going to encapsulate everything except for the burger, just to try and seal it up underneath, especially so that we're not getting things like hair caught underneath or anything else that'll be a real nuisance. Not only that, but we want to go in and use this to seal our paper that we're resting on. And at this point is when I'm going to start curing it in specific patterns and ways to emulate those ripples that you might find on a paper when it's like all scrunched up and such. So I'm doing that now just by, you know, putting gel down where I want it, and then holding it down, doing a flash cure, and just kind of shifting it all around the paper, just to try and give it a really cool, natural kind of look. Now that all my paper positioning's looking great and a little bit of wave and a little natural looking, just going in with a nice glossy top coat all over the base nail and the paper. Again, leaving the burger alone. The clay gels are a no wipe that cures with a really cool matte look, and that looks way better than glossing it. So the contrast between the glossy nail bed and the paper looks really fantastic, and the details on the burger are going to look and stand out much better with a matte coat rather than making it glossy. The light reflecting off it when it's glossy just blurs out a lot of details, and it makes it a lot harder to see really fine, cool details. Taking my nice thin detail brush here and making sure to seal nice and tight up along the bottom of the burger and any spots that I might have missed. Just making sure the underneath of the paper is coated, because, you know, it's exposed inhibition layer gel underneath there. So you want to make sure it's got a top gloss over it. And yeah, just making sure to cover up every little detail, and then filling in any gaps that I feel like still might possibly catch on hair or anything else. Just making it nice and sturdy and make sure it's not going to be a nuisance at all. And there we have it, a finished burger nail. I hope you enjoyed watching this come together, and make sure to let me know in the comments if this is something you would try or if you've ever tried it before. I gotta say, there were a few hurdles to jump, but once I got past them and figured it out, you know, it was quick from there. It's just, there's a learning curve. And now that I've got it down, I feel like I could pull this off so much faster, so much easier next time, because I learned so much from it. As always, thank you so much for being here, guys. And until next time, don't forget to love your nails. Bye.